All right, guys, we're recording. Good morning. It is Sunday, February 1st, and I'm really excited because this is our debrief call from our 10 Days to Executive Director group. So, when we started out the group, basically, we just said, hey, who wants to shoot for Executive Director? And none of us were close to it. It's like, and there was only 10 days left in the month, and we want to see what happens. If we got busy and kind of got focused, we want to see what sort of things we could create in a very short amount of time. So many of you guys watching this playback, some of you guys were in our March Madness training series last year. And then we follow that up with our good to great, right? Sometimes in your life, you have to give up the good to establish your greatness. And then we came back with a really heavy series called Empathetic Coaching. And many of you guys started exploding from there. Executive director, regional, national, all sorts of stuff. And we start to learn how to work with people with an empathetic kind of feel. So I figured, well, we got a lot of newer coaches on the team. There's some people that I could easily see based off of where they were positioned, that if they got busy, then things would happen. And so this group emerged. And so we started out with we started out with 6 and we ended with 5, which is a really good ratio. I was generally, I see maybe about 30% of the folks will fall off by the end of the time period. So we ended really, really well. So I want to debrief. I want to see what you guys kind of learn. I want to see some things that may have been surprising to you. I want to see just kind of some things that really stood out to you. And then I'll kind of tie it up to what this series was all about. It certainly was not about hitting executive director, first and foremost. It's about stretching yourself. And the more you stretch yourself and the more you shoot for things, the more you grow as an individual. And just the way that the universe works, if you stretch yourself and you grow, then it gives you more room to allow more blessings to come into your life. The challenge is most of us get really, really comfortable with where we're at. And so we never really stretch ourselves. And so we stay in the same exact position, wondering why aren't things happening for us? And so really this series was about, I wanted to show you guys how if you just set some goals and you just went after it, and maybe we did not hit that goal, but you're definitely going to stretch yourself so you allow more blessings into your life. And really it has nothing to do with coaching. It has everything to do with just life stuff. So we can take these same principles and we can apply it to every single area of our lives, whether that's at our full-time jobs, whether that's in our families, our relationships, even set goals. You could do a structural attention chart with your kids to become a better parent. If you are single and you wanted to go out there and date, this is the same sort of principles that you could do. If you want to be a millionaire, that is one of my goals in the next 5 years. And so it's a very, very lofty goal, but I know how this stuff works, right? So anyhow, so let's get to it. Let's see what you guys learn. So who wants to go first? How about you, Carla? Since you were the first person. Oh, I guess I should mention that there was an incentive within this group too. So whoever hit executive director first, then they were going to get $200 to whatever restaurant they wanted and $200 towards an event that was not located in California. So Carla was our big winner. And I think she may hit it a couple days before the rest did. So Carla, since you hit it first, tell us what you learned. Tell us what you got out of this thing. Tell us whatever you experienced.
Okay, well, I had a hard time in the beginning. I didn't think this was something that I can do or was for me. So I doubted myself a lot. I wouldn't I wouldn't talk to very many people because I just didn't think this was something I can do. When you challenged us, I wasn't going to do it. Rosie said, do it. You don't lose anything. Just do it. Okay. So I started, and I was still a little iffy. um, but as I started talking to people, not thinking about what if, or they're not going to want to do this, or no, they don't need it. Um, I just started talking. So I guess what I learned is not to let all those ifs get in my way of connecting with people. I can do this. The people that have joined are very connected with me. They they make me feel awesome because they're here losing weight, and then they say these little words like my coach is awesome, and that just makes me feel amazing. Um, I learned that I shouldn't set any limit to myself. So what else could I say? I mean, right now I'm very happy. I don't know. I just can't explain how I feel right now because I did it. I did it. I sit here and I think, shoot, I can't believe I actually broke all these boundaries, and I have very many of them. So thank you, and I thank Rosie for always being there pushing me.
For sure. So for you guys watching this, and even you guys on, the first 2 days were more mental focus. It really had very little to do with activity, if you guys remember. And it was more about relinquishing your ego, getting out of your own way, um, using different terminology, using phrases like, well, what if, or I wonder what could happen. Um, really focusing on our red light thinking, the thoughts that come into our minds, into our head, that literally stop us from reaching our potential. And again, this happens in every single area of life. And so, like you, Carla, yeah, we put a lot of limitations on ourselves. And so in every area, and the better we get with these principles, you're really going to start to find out that there's literally nothing that you cannot do. And that's why coaching is so cool. It's much more about personal development and you working on you than anything else. And as you work on you, then you're going to see many, many blessings come into your life. So it's really cool. All right. The next person to hit, thanks, darling, was, I think, probably Nicole hit next. Nicole, what are some... Crap. That was crazy. Okay, I think we're good now. Nicole, tell us what you learned and what you got out of it and some of the things that you experienced, because you were not necessarily all that close 10 days ago, but you really, really got busy just like everybody else. The energy within the group was crazy.
Yeah.
And it's really motivating. Every morning we got on at 6 a.m. and then from there throughout the day, we're just killing it. So what did you get?
I don't even know where to begin. I got so much out of it. Yesterday was very, very emotional for me. I guess I never realized, how far I could, kind of like what Carla said, how far I could actually stretch myself. Just the basic principles of actually writing down a goal and looking at it every single morning, looking at it every single night. And when you talk about just like, the universe and things that are going to happen, every time I would think and dream and wish that somebody would just reach out, it happened. It was the craziest thing. I would get text messages, I would get Facebook messages. I'm like, this is incredible. All the signs that were pointing my way and saying, go for it, go for it. Just in the beginning, when we went to San Diego, my aha was how much time I was wasting on doing things that were not productive. And I think that was the biggest thing for me is, I just continued to go. And I literally had to shut my mind off and say, stop wasting time, stop doing things that aren't helping clients, and just get on the phone and do it. and it was a lot of mental struggles throughout the whole thing. But just looking back at, you know, all the different trainings that we had, and you know, encouragement through, you know, every single morning, you know, I was able to apply those principles, shut down those negative thoughts. And I never really said I can't do this. Yesterday I was just full of anxiety because I was down to the wire, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. I have to do this. There's so many people out there that need my help. Yesterday was an amazing day. You know, not a lot of people signed on the spot, but, you know, just being able to reach out to family and friends and to hear in their voice how desperately they want to change in their life. And for me to know that this is the program for them and that I can help them. And, you know, using the words, trust me, I said that a lot over the past few days. And I think you can just hear the passion in my voice. You know, you've got to trust me on this. And I think a lot of people, you know, see the benefit in that. I could go on, but I think that those were my biggest takeaways is just to keep pushing myself and write down the goals, and the sky's the limit. So I'm very grateful, very, very grateful for what has happened over the past few weeks.
Love it. Okay, guys. So yeah, the first day we got together, I think probably the first thing I asked you guys to do was really consider, really think about the things that you wanted, right? And of course, executive director was kind of the goal, but I asked you to extend that into all of our goals for our whole life, and to write that down and to get really connected with it and really present with it. As I've begun to work with a lot of people, client and coaches and stuff like that, it's really apparent to me that very, very few people actually know core, inside, intrinsically what it is that they want. And so we had you guys just kind of write that down. And I asked you every single morning before you got up and got busy and, you know, started getting ready for work and the kids, to look at those goals, and every night before you went to sleep to look at those goals. And it's a really strong principle, and writing it down, actually pen to paper, is really, really strong. And so, Nicole, you're right. Thanks for bringing that up. Let's go to Tinger. All right, Tinger, what did you get?
You know, I really got that, like writing down those goals and looking at every morning and seeing that it was possible to do it. Even though I didn't hit ED myself, I did realize that it is possible, and that I was pushing myself a lot more than what I probably had been previously. And I also realized that, like, I also could have worked harder to achieve what the other ladies had done as well. So it's just something inspiring to look forward to for this month. So hopefully in February, my goal is definitely to hit ED. So, and I have a lot of interested calls set up, and and hopefully bring a few more coaches on board as well.
Yeah, well, Tinger, with you, yeah, you didn't hit it right, but you were so active in the way that this business works. It's what you do today will come, the seeds you plant today will grow next month, and the month after that, and the month after that. And so if you're really, really busy in January, right, and we saw you're having lunches, you brought on coaches. I mean, you're bringing people to San Diego, to my apartment. So if you get busy, generally what's going to happen is everything that you do now, you're not going to see until next month, the month after that, the month after that. So you planted so many dynamic seeds. You had so many good conversations with people. And you're going to see that everything that you do today, this is the only reason why in my career within this whole coaching thing, I've moved so fast, because the consistency of planting never, ever stops for me. You know, so what I've done like a year ago sometimes still shows up today. And so that's a really important principle. I love it. But yeah, you got coaches and stuff. We're working with new people. All good. All right, let's go to our boy Jesse J.
Then, can you hear me? Can you hear me? No? Yes? Hold on. Come back. Can you hear me?
Okay, while Jay's figuring that out, let's go to Rebecca. Rebecca, can you come off of mute? Rebecca?
Hey, sorry, let me step in the other room. There's babies here that are going to cry. So I just had so much fun doing this, and I think before I was just so focused that I kind of was losing having fun during this whole process, and that just makes it so much better, and the days go by better, just being able to make the connections. And at one point, I think I just kind of even forgot about hitting ED, that I was just wanting to talk to as many people as possible, and I had kind of lost sight of that before. And so this just kind of lit that fire under me to be able to do that. Being able to encourage the other coaches was really huge for me, to just feel this little family that we have created with this little group, and just being able to help and inspire each other was really great. I loved the conversation we had the other morning about flipping the shelf, and that's just what I keep thinking about every day. Just being able to flip the shelves, and if they're ready today, great. If they're ready next week, great. If they're ready next year, great. But it's just all about setting yourself up for the future. So like you said, you have people who come to you a year later, or I think it was Bernie posted in our group something along the fact that one of his people has been following him for an entire year and just now came to him and said that they were ready. So that's just, to me, what it's all about, is just trying to get those connections every day, and whenever they're ready, and you just have to be there for them. And so that's what I've had fun with, and what's been helpful for me.
Perfect. We talked a lot about follow-up. We almost spent a whole day just going over follow-up techniques and things like that. And everyone, take yourselves off of mute if you've had experience with this. What would you say you learned, or maybe really good for you in terms of the follow-up process?
I'll say, this is Nicole. I learned just to do it and don't hold back. I focus so much on, gosh, I don't have the time to do this, and what's my system going to be? Calling people by phone hasn't worked 100% of the time for me. So just reaching out, even via text or Facebook, saying, hey, I'm thinking about you. How are things going? It felt really good. And I'm trying to just keep in mind that these are people that I'm making connections with. I'm not trying to sell them on anything, but the people that I've been able to connect with that, I haven't talked to in years and years and years, it just makes me feel good. So if I keep that in the forefront of my mind, that I'm really just making connections, I think it'll push me to continue the follow-up process.
I agree. How about for anyone else?
I'll go. So I noticed that a lot of my follow-ups, they actually thank me for following up with them. And even if they're not ready at that particular time for financial reasons or family reasons, then I ask them again, okay, I know you're really wanting to do this. When is a good time to follow up with you again? And they'll always give me another date. So I know that they want to do it, and they tell me that they know that they want to do it. They just need some more time. So, but in the process, I've noticed too that they're also sending some people my way on people who may be interested. So it's cool that you can that following up does help and that they are thankful and appreciative of that. I also learned that, like, even if I can't get on the phone with them because they tell me that they're busy, sometimes even just Facebooking or Gmail chatting with some of my clients. That's how I got one of my clients. She's like, I can't really talk on the phone, but I want to know more about your program. So I gave her like a little bit, and then she kept asking more questions, and we basically had a full-on conversation through GChat. And then I said, oh, when are you ready? When are you ready to jump on the program? She's like, let's do this at lunch. She's like, call me at lunchtime. I want to sign up. So it was really cool. And I tried something different. Usually I try to do like a call, but Facebooking or like messaging people has helped me too, in some ways.
Yeah, I think it's cool, man. Like, we were just talking about that day in the group when everybody was like doing screenshots of our follow-ups and we're using verbiage. Like, I was just thinking about you today, or I had you on my mind this morning. And literally every single person, the reply was, thanks so much for thinking about me, or thanks for getting back to me. And that was one of the biggest blocks that I had when I started coaching. I would, in my mind, I would think, oh, I don't want to bug this person. And what's been proven to me as I begin to learn how to shift these thoughts that are really powerful and I believe to be true, even though they obviously are not true. And people are like, oh my gosh, thank you. No one has taken the time to reach out to me. Thank you for asking me if I've, gotten any closer to my goal. I haven't. I'm still trying. And if it doesn't work, then I'll hit you up or whatever. But people are so grateful. And it was one of the biggest eye openers for me, because I had proven to myself for so long that I don't want to bug this person. And it's just so not the truth, but I made it the truth for such a long time. So, all right, Jay is back on. Jay, let's see if we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. This experience was a little frustrating for me. I had other things going on, and there was like 2 or 3 times that I swear to you, I wanted to walk into work and be like, I'm out, suckers, peace. But the sane of minds prevailed, and I was like, all right, I can't do that just yet. But yeah, man, there was a few times where I'm just like, I have all these people to follow up with, and my times are just really tight. So in January, I also gave up a yearly trip that I do with my folks to go see my grandparents, and that stung a little bit. I was like, I gave that up, and I didn't come through with the things that I wanted to do. Things that I learned, I love the energy when I would look at your guys' things. Like, I was at work and the phone kept on going, bzz, bzz, bzz. They're like, dude, who's blowing you up? And I'm like, it's not me. It's like a little chat. And they're like, well, geez, can you put it on mute or something? And I was like, and then I figured out how to put it on mute. I was like, all right, cool, we're good. But yeah, reading the text and seeing, when Carla hit ED, and then Nikki, and then Becca, and Tinger was like, oh, dude, I got this person with the IC, and I'm like, dude, I need to be in the mix too. But that inspired me to go out. Yesterday, I had 3 interested calls, and it was a great lesson yesterday because they didn't jump on. I collected a yes. But what was cool is that sometimes, and I've been noticing this a lot more, people almost need you to tell them what to do. And it's kind of like the assumptive close, like, okay. And it hit me afterwards. I was driving, and I'm like, dang it. Once they're there, they're kind of like, okay. Then I should have been like, you know what? I don't see any reason why we shouldn't move forward. What's your info? And I should have just gone and went with that. So it was a great lesson that I learned last night, because they're not familiar with the program. After you've gone through it, they're kind of like, all right, so now what? And that was a great lesson for me. Gosh, wow, so there were so many things that the personal developing, that was pretty powerful. I love the videos that you would send. It would really make me think, like, all right, well, when you sent the video, are you really selling? I was like, all right, because that was one of my blocks. I'm like, dude, I don't want people to think that I'm like selling them. But, I started thinking to myself, do I really have to sell people on getting healthy? Is that really, are you really selling people on gaining their health, gaining their confidence back? Because that's what happened to me. My confidence came back, my health came back, and then I started thinking, well, no, my coach didn't sell me. I jumped on board, saw the benefit, and ran with it. So a lot of little epiphanies that I was having along the way. So I was kind of mad at you. I was like, dude, what the heck, Jamil? Why would you wait for the last 10 days? But I get it now. It's to create urgency and light a fire under your butt. I get it now. Like for the first 3 days, I was like, really, dude? The last 10 days. You couldn't have done this 2 weeks into January. You had to wait to the end. So that was pretty cool. I like that. That's it, man. Here's what I'm declaring. February, ED for sure. ED and above.
Good stuff, man. That was really good. So, so many principles. Coaching is all about the journey, just like our weight loss have been, right? When probably most of us got going with starting this program as a client, we probably did not believe that we could do some of the things that we have done. When I started, I told my coach I wanted to lose 15 pounds because that's all I believed that I could do. And I went on to lose a little bit more, over 30 pounds, which I didn't believe that I could do because I hadn't done it in ever. So same thing works with now coaching, okay? Like most of us don't know what we're capable of. So the 10 days was I want to show you guys what, if you set a goal, you declare it, and you start to believe that you can do it, anything can happen. And that's just how it works. And so if you can imagine that you can do this in 10 days, all the things that have been done, what do you think is possible in 2 years? My gosh. Like for real. 10 days, look at all of the barriers that have been broken in terms of the way that we choose to think. Look at how we're looking at our activity. We're having fun. We're just flipping over shells. Who's ready today? We said in our group, it's like playing checkers. It's like literally just moving pieces. Okay, you're not ready today. I'll follow up with you. And then you're getting closer to being king. And it's just fun. It's like a video game. And just think if you do that with the same sense of passion, compassion, getting rid of your ego, relinquishing yourself, and really coming at it from a place of service. I said, look at everyone with a sense of gratitude and have positive assumptions about every single person, right? So I want to do, and Rebecca, you can't see this, but I want to do a couple exercises just to let you guys know kind of what success is all about, especially within health coaching, okay? So I want you guys to put your hands like this. And then I want you to just interlace your fingers the way you naturally would. Yes? Okay, how does that feel? Feels normal, it feels natural, feels good. Now I want you to change the position of your fingers and just move it over one. How's that feel? Does it feel as good? Feels weird? You guys can take yourself off and mute too. It feels uncomfortable. Like it feels strange.
Feels awkward.
It feels awkward. Now go back to your original position. How does that feel now? It feels
Better.
good, man. I literally have chills. This is the difference between people who literally stay at the same space and those who experience a tremendous amount of success. That's it. Going from being uncomfortable and being okay with being uncomfortable, and then eventually overcoming all of those mind blocks, that's the only difference, so that this discomfort becomes really comfortable. That is the only difference. And some people will never, ever move out of being uncomfortable. And so they will stay at the same exact spot in every area of their life. When all you need to do is just keep working every single day to be okay with being uncomfortable, and really start watching your negative beliefs, the things you've made true for a long time that just are not true. Like, I don't want to talk to this person because they're going to feel like I'm selling them. We have no clue what that person's going to think. We haven't even talked to them yet. We just created a story in our head that literally is not true. So we have to get really good with creating really positive stories every single time. Well, gosh, I can't believe that I just thought that that person would think that I was selling them. I can't believe I just made that up. So let me make up a story that's beautiful, that's actually going to help me get to my goal. So this person woke up this morning praying that someone would reach out to them and be that angel, that light for them. And that just happens to be me. So let me go talk to them. Now, that sort of story will make you very, very successful. I'm not even talking about money-wise. But creating positive stories like that will be very, very important. One last thing I want you guys to do. So if you look at your wrist, there's usually like a little line there. And so I want you to line up both of those lines on your hand. And as you'll see, usually one of those hands is going to be a little bit longer than the other one. Do you guys have that? Yes? So take the hand that's your shorter hand, and I want you to put it in front of your face. And I want all of us to say at the same time, while you're staring at this hand, grow longer. Okay? So 1, 2, 3. Grow longer.
Grow longer.
Grow longer.
Grow longer.
Longer. Grow longer. Grow longer. Grow longer. Grow longer.
Grow longer.
Now add up both of those hands again. And this time, which one is longer? Is the shorter hand longer now? Okay. So all this is telling you is your brain is super powerful. Whatever you focus on will happen, but you can't stop focusing on it. This is why I said, look at your goals before you go to bed and look at them first thing when you wake up. Life is so crazy. We're going to get so busy with jobs and kids and all that stuff that you're literally going to take your attention off of the things that are like super important. So if you could just extend your attention to the things that are going to make you really, really successful, it will always happen. Just like this hand getting longer because you're focusing on it. But if you lose focus, then that hand is going to go right back to being as small as it was. And that is an illustration of our lives. So if we lose focus on the things that we really, really want, like really, really want, not the things that's been taught to us that we want, but the stuff that we really, really want, and you're focused on that, I promise you, you will move at a very fast pace and things will just start dropping into your lives. And you'll say, oh my gosh, that was a coincidence, but you're going to see how this thing works. It's a law of attraction, and stuff will just start attracting to you. People will start coming into your lives. Opportunities will start coming into your lives. All sorts of stuff will happen. Money from nowhere. You could not have told me 2 years ago that I would literally be making what I'm making now and doing it so easy. Like, I don't know, it's very simple to me. But you have to be really, really focused on the things that you really, really want, not the stuff that you just kind of are going to be okay with. So I think it was an amazing series. I think we've proven a lot to ourselves. I think that we're starting to understand that that we might limit ourselves more than we realize. And more than anything, really watch your thoughts, because that's the only difference between not only health coaches, but people that establish really, really strong success, is they just choose to think differently and they never ever quit. They never give up. And so I think it's been a great series. I'm really glad that you guys decided to do it. I'm really glad that you guys committed yourselves. And again, if you can do what you've done in 10 days, by the time next January rolls around, which is a year away, right? Next February 1st rolls around, then you should not only be able to explode this whole coaching business, but you'll see that many other areas within your lives will get much, much better too. So does anyone have any last thoughts or anything like that? Are we good? Should we close out like that?
Jamel, you know what I think? And this is just based on other companies that I'm with. I think all of us should always be on the run, whether it's senior coach, associate, executive director, regional, just because I think, like you're saying, what you keep in focus or what you think about expands. So if we're always constantly thinking, all right, I'm going to run to hit senior coach, I'm going to run to hit a new associate director, I'm director, executive director. Like for me, I know that starting today, I'm going to run to hit executive director. That's just what I'm putting out there. And I think, like you're just saying, you keep it in focus, and whatever you're doing, all of a sudden starts becoming attracted to that. Just my thought process, and I think all of the coaches should always be on a run to hit whatever rank you want to hit, or keep the rank that you're at. It's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree. And at some level, we're going to stop thinking about ranks, and we're just going to think about people too. This is why we do the lines on paper. But for the purpose of this series and this call, we're not there yet. Once you guys start ranking up higher, then I'll share with you some other tips. So, all right, good stuff, guys. Thank you guys so much for being on. We're about 42 minutes into this thing. Hopefully all of you guys that are watching the playback have learned something and have been blessed from the experiences of these 5, Party of 5. And hopefully you've gotten a little bit clearer of a picture that if you just kind of set some goals and set your intentions, that there's really not much that you can't achieve. So appreciate you all. Have a great Sunday. Enjoy your Super Bowl. And let's see what we can do in February. Peace.
Thank you.